Today, we are going to talk about an interesting model of organizational behavior, focusing on personal decisions and their impacts on overall performance. To start, could you please introduce yourself and share some background about your studies?
I am Ivan Smarzhevsky, associate professor on Faculty of Economics on People's Friendship University of Russia, Moscow. And my research interests are in organizational behavior and modeling of management decision making. I'm working with NetLogo technological platform about 12 years.
So, let's start by exploring the purpose of your model. Could you describe the main goals of your model in the context of organizational behavior?
Well, you see, let's look at a hierarchy consisting of working persons. All or most or part of positions are occupied by people, persons. This hierarchy deals with operational activity, and it doesn't matter what kind of. There are several levels of subordination in the hierarchy, and there's a top manager. Each subordinate has only one boss. And for such hierarchy, I have a concept, theory um, of mutual perception of persons occupying positions in this hierarchy. It's published, my concept, and published in Russian, and the abstracts of two of my papers are contained in the model documentation published on CONSES. The core of on concept is uh, that the perception has three significantly different, not reducible to each other aspects. This is a personal, professional, and social perception. We can understand values of this perception as some value on continuous with policies absolutely negative, absolutely positive, and some values between these policies. The values of these perceptions have certain dynamics and influence on personal decision in the hierarchy. This is a decision on appointment of person to position, reallocation, dismissal. And the model, as now published, is first approximation, first step to the implementation of concept of mutual perception. This is simplified version, as which only personal perception is present, and professional perception is objective. Level of employee competence is perceived by other people accurately, without distortion. And this assumption is quite realistic, since whether we like our colleagues personally or not, we perceive their level of competency correctly. Um, and generally, model was created as a tool that allow performing statistical experiments. It doesn't have beautiful visualization on the screen, but it's possible to configure the parameters of hierarchy, properties of persons as a set, and the characteristics of environment. And you can choose some certain scenarios for making personal decisions. A scenario is a set of available solutions available for some level of management. In my implementation, hierarchy has four levels: zero level for top manager, first and second level for head of the departments, and the third level for executives. And heads make decision, personal decision about positions subordinate to it. Okay. Executives can make personal decision about, for example, dismissal or pretend to some position, some more higher position in hierarchy. Well, and the scenario set of available solution detailed by hierarchy level. Thus, having made certain settings, we can perform experiment and export data and carry out statistical processing. That's all.
Next, let's talk about the development process. I mean, about the challenges. What were the main challenges you faced while developing this model, and especially when it came to incorporating the perceptions and interactions of agents?
Yeah, there's two main challenges. The first is technical, and the second is psychological. The first problem is that you may create numeric objects and numeric attributes for your object. In such a way, supplement the logic of the model, the interaction between objects. And as a first step of modeling, this logic exists only in your mind. And along the way, surprise may await you because you don't know the technological platform on which you are creating the model. For example, I'm working on NetLog, but I know only one person in the world, Yuri Velensky, who has perfect knowledge of NetLog. I'm not. So surprises may await you. Surprises are sometimes very interesting and sometimes very unpleasant. And the psychological problem is that you need to be able to see the forest for the trees. Writing code is very interesting, and the deeper you dive into it, the more pleasure you get from it. But the concept is more important than code. You cannot get lost in code. One must be able to rise above the coding level and look at the model from higher theoretical level.
Now, let's discuss the insights. What are the key findings that have emerged from your model analysis, particularly regarding the impact of, different controlled scenarios on organizational performance? And were there any surprising patterns or trends you observed about mutual perceptions influence the decision-making process?
The result is in this figure. Two options for the environment, an aggressive and a comfortable. Three options for control scenarios, an action, chaos, and dictatorship. On graphs, the horizontal scale shows the simulation time in ticks. The vertical scale shows the productivity of the hierarchy as a whole. Horizontal line at the top is the theoretical maximum productivity. It's achieved when the most productive people occupy positions at the highest levels. The graph below is actual productivity. Dictatorship scenario reaches a higher level of actual productivity and does it faster than the other two scenarios. In a comfortable environment, the difference between scenarios in action and chaos is small. In an aggressive environment, scenario in action shows a lower level of productivity and scenario chaos is characterized by volatility.
Since you have made your model available on comsys.net, what were the main difficulties you encountered in the process of archiving this model using comsys.net?
Absolutely no difficulties. It was very easy to do. I selected a form from the form on the site. I filled out the fields attached file and click the send button, and that's all.
So that was an easy
No
process.
Yeah.
And finally, looking ahead, what are the next steps for this research? Are there follow-up studies or, further development of your model that you are currently pursuing or planning?
From the technical point of view, the plan of improving the model is quite simple. We need to increase the number of control scenarios. We need to introduce new type of decisions. And we need to improve the implementation of the coalition in the model. Now they formally exist, but don't have strong influence on decision making. And from the point of view of developing the concept of mutual perception, I need to implement a social aspect of perception in the model. Well, and there's something to think about here.
So thank you. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for the invitation. And I will be very glad if my short story about my small experience will be helpful for other researchers.